Here at Atlanta Dentures, we don't always jump straight to extracting a tooth. If the tooth is savable, it is an irreplaceable body part that has much more functionality that can't be recreated with something artificial. So if we can save the natural teeth, we do prefer to do that, but that's not always the option. When we look at an individual tooth, there's really only two clear-cut reasons why a tooth couldn't be saved. One would be that there's not enough tooth structure left to restore, and the other would be if the tooth is cracked straight down the root. In those cases, the tooth has to come out. Now, when we start looking at a full mouth of teeth, the equation becomes a little bit more complicated. Now we have to factor in the health of the bone and the tissues around all the teeth, what it's going to take comprehensively to restore this patient, and is it really going to be the best result in the end for the patient's health? When we start looking at ways to save teeth from being extracted, there are several problems that we may be trying to address. Sometimes it's from a loss of bone or gum tissue around the tooth, and we have several options for grafting your own material or sometimes artificial materials in, depending on the situation, to try to rebuild that bone and gum tissue around the tooth. Another interesting development in saving teeth is in root canal therapies, where maybe the tooth has become infected and it needs to have what's called a root canal procedure. With 3D imaging, laser technology, and 3D microscopy, we can now have much more visibility to get in and disinfect the canal of the tooth, clean it out, and save the tooth. And when that's no longer an option, the 3D microscopes give us the visibility and the lasers give us the accuracy to actually go in and perform a surgery on the very tip of the root to clean it up and to save the tooth. The average lifespan of a crown is about 12 to 13 years. A lot of that comes down into planning the end result before you start. If we just go in and place a crown in a bad environment, that's going to lower the length of time that crown can survive in that mouth. If we look at things comprehensively and design the whole system as one, then it can last for a lifetime with proper maintenance. Why would some offices jump to extracting a tooth rather than to trying to save the natural tooth? Sometimes they just don't continue their education to learn what is possible with new techniques and new technology. Sometimes they're unwilling to invest in those technologies or to invest in their own education. Sometimes they just don't know. If you've been told that you need a tooth extracted and you want a second opinion, please call our office and schedule a consult so we can see what we can do to save your tooth.